Thank you very much for staying with us. We're still talking about the topic International Day for Children on the streets below or within the ages of 23. And we've been having a discussion with our guest in the studio in person of Fumilola Moraki, or who is actually a child and family development officer of her organization called Child Lifeline. She's been sharing her perspective with us on this topic. We're still not done with her, but we still want to, entertain other guests who are also calling in to join us in this discussion. And we have with us Titi Lokbe Adewusi. Titi Lokbe Adewusi is actually a co-founder Niger Kids Ed Tech Company. She is the owner of this company, Kids. What's it called now? Niger Kids EdTech Company. Thank you very much, Titi Lokwe, for joining us.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you. Now, let's go straight into business because we are really pressed for time. We are talking about World International Children on the street under the age of 23, and we've been talking about the significance of this day. Talk to us about it. Let's start from there.
Okay, thank you very much. Like you said, children of the street are simply people that live or work on the street. And when we think about it, what causes them to be on the street? A lot of it has to do with, lack of education, lack of opportunity, conflict, transform, abuse, and of neglect. So they find themselves on the street. And I can look back at my life and say, this could have been me. My father died when I was 16. We could have been booted out of our homes, and then maybe some of us, my mother's children would have taken to the street. So what that happened, like I said, that happened when, when the family breaks down with the conflict. Imagine if they have taken me to go and stay with my auntie or an uncle who I thought was very mean. I would just one day run away, and then I would find myself back on the street. And of course, when that happens, then, it starts, a chain of events. So we find that, people that are on the street, they are more prone to abuse, sexual abuse. So you see young girls on the street, before you know it, they're pregnant, they've been abused, exposure to violence, they're exploited, they become once again the area boys of the area, girls of today. And then what then happens, like I said, the chain reaction starts. And then one day, they take to a life of crime. Because let's be honest, if you stay on the street long enough, and you're hungry, and then you see someone that the windows of their car is open, they are tempted to try and steal or, do one of those things. So it then becomes a vicious cycle. And once you start on that path, then you're, without an education, then the future just looks bleak. And of course, as a nation, as a country, what you then see is you see the increase in crime, you see lower economic growth, there's more insecurity, and it just goes on and on and on.
All right.
So this has just happened. Yeah, thank you.
All right. We understand the whole concept about the International Day for Street Children, and our guest also shared with us her own perspective or her own idea concerning the whole essence of it. Now, talk to us, aside from the fact that these children needs to be brought back home since they are out there in the street, what other provisions, do you think should be, given to these children after being brought back home?
Well, I think, I'm sure the first speaker would have spoken about that. There's a lot of counseling. Because if you're out on the streets, then you're used to being on your own. You're used to a lot of distrust because there's no how people would have stabbed you, but people would have exploited you. And they're also exposed to a lot of violence. So it's, there's a lot of psychological things that has gone on. And that for me is really the first thing that needs to happen. So if you take someone off the street, it's more than providing them with home, it's more than providing them food and nutrition, it's more than, getting them to go to school. You need to work on the mind.
All right.
Their mind has, changed.
All right.
Beyond that of a small child. Yeah.
That's interesting to hear from you. We don't have much time. thank you very much for, sharing your thoughts with us on this particular topic. We look forward to talking with you some other time. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right. That's our guest who has been sharing her thought with us on this topic. On a final note, you were talking about other aspects that can be extended to these kids. Can you just finalize on that?
Okay, so what we prioritize at Child Lifeline is reuniting these children back home. But before we do that, we would have rehabilitated them, because the child that left home 5 years ago is not the same child going back home. Several things have changed.
Thank you very much. Now, so what's your advice? Because we understand this is a collective effort of both you as an organization. We also know that the human rights organizations are also there, the government is also there, individuals are there.
Yeah.
Now, what is your advice to the government, since you are playing your own part as a human rights organization or an NGO, so to speak?
Okay, so what we have discovered over time is government is doing her part, but they are not doing as much as they should. Yeah. So we'll employ that they do more by providing alternative care homes for these children, because some of them don't even have a home to go back to. That's how bad it is. But what we do is we first of all assess the home. If there is a home to go back to, then we now reunite the child with the parents. But where there are so many kids that there is not even a home to go back to, because there is abuse, there are all kinds of things in such a home, and such a child cannot live and be viable in such a home. So we always refer them to shelters, mostly NGO shelters. We run one at Ikorodu. So, and then when we have an overage, we refer to other homes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We don't have much time to spend. We would have allowed you air your views on this topic. It's interesting talking with you, Fumilola Morakio, Child and Family Development Officer at Child Lifeline. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you for having me.
This is where we'll be dropping the anchor for today. And of course, we enjoyed this program. And of course, we know you also did as well. Stay with us tomorrow for yet another topic and other guests that will be coming on board. I remain your host, Samuel Okata, for iBrand Daybreak today.
Also, my name is Joshua Okata. God willing, we'll see you tomorrow again. Do stay with us.
Bye for now.